Mandy, love, welcome. Thank
Oh,
you. Thank you for taking this time to have a chat with me.
mm.
I really wanted to connect with you because we've been on quite a journey over the last, well, five and a bit months. We're nearly into the last leg of the devoted journey, a journey of being held and of holding in circle space, sacred facilitation, showing up, stumbling, falling, lifting others. And I just thought it'd be really wonderful to hear directly from you how it's been for you along this journey. But before we go there, I just wondered if you could tell us, a little bit about what called you into Devoted when just at that point where we connected
Yeah.
and you shared your curiosity. What
Yeah.
was it that sparked the interest for you?
Yeah. Well, I'd met you already, Tanya, on a previous training I was on, and I it was one of those sort of feelings where I thought I would like to work with this woman more. I just felt that really strongly. And then it was probably about a year after that I saw you in Sweden and I had the same feeling again. This is just somebody I really want to learn from and that. And then I'm always in awe, Tanya, of the timing of life and how things unfold because when I got the email about Devoted and just introducing it and what it was about, it couldn't have been more perfect timing for me.
Mm.
Um, the name really resonated with me at that time. That word was really sort of really alive and present in my life. And I read the I always use the word blurb. I hate to use that because you're such a good writer,
A
and
good
it
blurb.
seems like it seems like a dismissive word, but when I read your description of the training, it was like every word, Tanya,
Yeah.
was like a yes for me. It's like yes, I want that's just where I want to go in my life. I want to I really have in my life sort of neglected actually, um, not in more recent years, but in my younger years, neglected relationships with female friends, and I I just feel at the age and stage I am in my life that I'm really, for the first time, really in my life, really stepping into my own as a woman, and yeah, it was the perfect training at exactly the right time in my life. Yeah.
Mm. Thank you. And I remember when we first connected, there was such an ease in you to say yes. It was like what I received, and that was like, this is a full body yes. Like everything about it is a yes. I'm in, and I have experienced that the whole way along is your inness. And of course, life brings us stuff. Every single one of us in the circle has had life circumstances to navigate, some really challenging ones.
Yeah.
And I've still experienced the inness of you and all the women that are, coming to the end of the journey. There's a real deep inness in
Yeah.
in this journey. And I wonder what it's been like for you. How would you describe the experience of being in the circle with the others? Because it's not just me training,
Yeah.
it's being in circle, being held in circle.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Tanya, if I can just speak to what you just said about the inness, and I really want to give you credit actually for that in the way that you have run this training, that you've held the space, that you've in my experience, I've done loads of trainings, Tanya, but in my experience, in the way you've held this, you've really sort of called in that inness
Mm.
in a very gentle kind of not sort of dominating way, but you've held us accountable. And I like that in a training. I've been on other trainings where it hasn't been like that. So yes, I've when we had that meeting and when I saw the training, I was like, every cell in my body was like, yeah, this is right. But along the way, as you said, I've had, and this always seems to happen, right? When you make a commitment to something, when you really come in with a strong intention, life inevitably gives you challenges and the exact circumstances to meet whatever it is that you're stepping into. And that's been certainly the case for me during this training. So there have been times where I've really struggled with, oh my God, I've got so much going on in my life. Can I really show up for this training? And a my commitment um, to it has been there, but also you've run it in a way where you've really helped me actually to maintain that. Just in, I suppose I'm speaking to your skill as a facilitator in doing that. So that's that.
Thank you.
My experience of being on this training and it's exceeded my expectations. As always, these things you go in with a certain expectation of how it's going to be and what might happen. And I'm always sort of delighted and surprised when actually it goes way beyond, any expectation that I actually had. And I learned things that I wasn't expecting to learn, or it took me in different directions. That's really been true of this training, Tanya.
Mm,
And for me, the bond that has been created in our group has been so nourishing and rich and deep that it's actually, I can feel such an emotional charge to that. It's been so valuable and so what I've needed that it actually, um, the emotion that's welling up, even talking about it, speaks to that. Um, and, I like going deep with people, and I love the themes that we've explored, you know, like the theme of belonging. The themes that have really got me to think very deeply about things that are really important
mm,
in um, underlying all the things, the drive. We had a conversation the other day, actually, where you named this, Tanya, but everything I do, every course I do, I'm driven by this longing to know love more deeply, what love is, and how that's what true love is,
mm,
and how that's experienced. And I feel like this training has really enriched my experience and understanding of love,
mm,
actually.
mm.
That makes me
Oh,
emotional.
yeah, that's
And
like,
yeah, it really has. It's really, and I've really loved being in a group of women that it's a diverse group,
Mm,
diverse backgrounds, diverse ages, diverse cultures. I've really enjoyed that.
mm,
And I've also really, what's made this training really, that what's also helped me to be really in is the way that you've held it with such a deep understanding of nervous system regulation. So at no point have I felt exhausted, or, all the meetings have been held with a really deep understanding of embodiment and when breaks are needed and when things are too much. Because I have been on other trainings where 2 hours on Zoom and I'm just wiped out afterwards. But I've my experience has been different on this training with that.
mm.
Yeah.
Thank you, love.
Sorry, that was a long answer.
That's a beautiful answer. I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
wow. And
yeah,
I was really touched about your words around love. And,
yeah,
I spoke into it on Saturday in our in-person day of, why are we doing this work? Why are we doing this work? Why are we spending time together and investing time, money, and effort into our lives?
Yeah.
What's it for? The bigger picture, what's it for? And it just came through so clearly for me that it's for love. It's how do we awaken to love?
Yeah.
And how do we support others to do so? And sometimes it's messy and sometimes it's tidy and everything in between. And yet here we are holding the stakes in the ground, the circles, the spaces for each other
Absolutely.
and others. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's really what it boils down to me. You know,
Mm,
as I said a moment ago, that's what it boils down to. And there's just nothing beats for, I think, for me in my human experience, nothing beats being in a space where you feel accepted
yeah.
completely. And that equates to love for me, you
Mm,
know. And as I said before, I think my whole life has been driven for the longing of that. And yeah, that's really, I've experienced so many moments as our group has, um, as we've gone along the journey and our connection has deepened, that feeling of really, those of true love has really touched me.
mm. Yeah, thank you. And true love in the non-Disney way, true love as in the grit and the grace of it all. Yeah.
Exactly. And that's such a good point to make, Tanya, because love is such a loaded word in our
Mm,
culture, isn't it? It can mean a million different things to different people. And I'm certainly not referring to the Disney
yeah.
romanticized fairy tale that, particularly as women, I think we're all sold
Mm,
as little girls, you know. Yeah, for me, it's something entirely different,
mm.
you know. Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, the word that comes with it is courage, is the courage to show up. And
Mm.
as you shared just then, just a little earlier, was around actually showing up in all of it and to have the realness come through in our facilitation, in our holding, is to me one of the most important things we can offer, because it gives permission, and you've experienced that, and then others experience that through you, and so on and so on and so on, is to actually bring through our real.
Absolutely.
So
Yes.
I am curious now,
Yeah.
if you were to pick one moment that was your, like, it was that moment that I absolutely loved.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That's tricky because um goodness, I could name several. Let me just have a feel into
Mm,
that, Tanya. Um Oh, do you know what? You have brought in the guest teachers that you've brought in have been really special moments, and witnessing the conversations that you've had with the two guest teachers that
mm.
I've experienced, I would say they're standout moments, I
Yeah.
think. Yeah,
Yeah, so Elisa and Mama Lula,
exactly.
our two elders in the circle,
I can't
and
see which I'm not going to say a preference because they were both so
yeah,
amazing.
and
Yeah.
so different. The
Yeah.
energies, and this is the gift of having circles with, like you said, so much diversity. And it
Yeah.
was really important to me that I had the elders in the circle, so important,
Yeah.
and the diversity in the medicine they were bringing through.
Exactly.
It isn't
Absolutely.
comparable
Yeah.
because it's their gifts, and I think that's another important piece in our circle holding, and what you shared that you experienced, is the diversity in that.
Yeah. I also, Tanya, I really loved how you kind of facilitated that. So it wasn't just, introducing the guest teacher and then they go on, a monologue of teaching something. And it wasn't a traditional sort of question and answer scenario. But I really loved how, and I know this takes courage because you just don't know where it's going to go or what's going to come
Mhm.
out. But I loved that it was in the form of just witnessing a conversation between you.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
really, really good to
Yeah.
watch. And yeah, I
Mm.
learned something from that I've actually learned so much in witnessing how you have facilitated this training as a holder of spaces myself. I've really learned a lot from how you've done that.
Thank
as
you.
well as the content of the training, as well as the actual content, but just witnessing how you've,
Mm,
run the training has been very much a learning curve for me.
mm.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
And I was just have a little flashback of Saturday when we were all sat in person together
yeah,
in that space, and each person bringing through their medicine. You had Elisa's medicine, you've had mine, you've had Mama Lula's, along with other teachers and other people in the space.
yeah.
What would you say is your medicine? Like, what's coming through you as a result of being in devoted?
Well, I love that you've taken us on that inquiry,
Mm,
because I like it's really got me to think and sort of hone in on what my medicine is. And I'm not sure if I can kind of say it really succinctly, but it was a good inquiry, Tanya, because I can kind of bumble along, a bit wishy-washy, and but it for me, it's to do with I love connecting people with and this was something very much that came through in this training for me, is that when we come together in a group in circle, we've got each of the individuals there, and then there's this other thing that emerges, right? That you can't really name, or it's but I for me, I feel like my medicine in this life is to um really connect people and their humanness with this sort of other dimension of life, whether you want to call that spirit or soul, or whatever, the sacredness of life, the divine aspect of ourselves. I just really love, connecting, helping people make that connection between their human life and all that happens in the human realm with this other thing that is sometimes hard to name.
That's
Yeah.
so difficult to put into words because it's such an experience, isn't it? And
Exactly.
how lucky those people will be to experience your transmission of that. I mean, I've experienced it again and again, and I
Tanya.
see it growing, which is wonderful.
Thank you, Tanya. Yeah.
And so finally, if somebody were listening to this and thinking about joining Devoted potentially then, but they're uncertain, unsure,
Mm.
sitting on the fence, what would you say to them?
I would say, you know, go for it. Quite often, I know from my own experience, Tanya, that when something drops in my awareness, it's no accident, right? When I feel a pull to it. And then this other energy inevitably comes in that is a bit scared to
Mhm.
sort of take that next step, right? It happens every single time. And so if you're aware that the hesitation, or that, if you're feeling that pull, there's a reason, and you know, the mind then can then come in with also, I haven't got the money, I haven't got the time, I haven't, but I'd say trust that pull, and yeah, and you know, there are always ways around all those reasons that the scared part of us will give, right? There's always, in my experience, right, I've always thought, oh, it's too expensive. Where am I going to get the money? It comes somehow when it's the right thing, you know. Oh, I don't know if I've got the time. Well, the time like the time is found somehow, So I would say just listen to that pull, and go for it.
Mm.
And yeah, um, you know, if it's even a fraction of how rich this journey has been for me, then it's well worth it.
Mm.
Yeah,
Thank you. Thank
yeah,
you so much. And it's been awe-inspiring to witness your journey. It really has. And I look forward to hearing all about and seeing all about your retreat that's coming up as well. And yeah, with the circle of women holding your back. I mean, there
yeah.
it is, right? As you step
Absolutely,
forward,
absolutely,
they hold
Tanya.
you.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. Thank you
Mhm.
for this time.
Thank you, my love.
Go well.
Mm.